On this episode of Bougie Texas Barbecue, we are making the ultimate staple when it comes to barbecue. It's not a whole hog, but it's pretty close. Today we're smoking a suckling pig low and slow, just in time for the holidays. With some help from my friends at La Lechonera, this recipe is the perfect guide if you're hosting a big party or if you just ultimately want to end up smoking a whole hog. So don't forget to like and subscribe, leave me a comment down below what you think, and let's begin. So let's begin prepping our pig. For the holiday season, you can go to your local butcher. They should have them in stock, or you can order them online frozen. If you do order them online, make sure to allow them to defrost in the fridge like if it was a turkey. Most of these pigs already come spatchcocked. You just need to break the spine a little so they lie completely flat. This pig was roughly 11.5 pounds. The next step we're going to have to do is inject. Injection is necessary to get flavor throughout the pig. I do want to mention what you inject your pork with is very important. You're going to want to inject it with something that not only enhances that natural pork flavor but adds a lot of moisture. So I'm recommending that you inject with La Lechonera's natural Mojo marinade. It's a great Spanish vinegar based marinade. I'll include the links down below, but just make sure that there is no air in your injection tube, because you do not want to pump up your pork with air. Because trust me guys, the last thing you want to do is pump up your pork with air. And you're going to keep pumping it up until it doubles in size. You want your pork to look like it's on steroids. Keep pumping until the liquid marinade spurts back out. That's basically the meat telling you it cannot take any more. And you're definitely going to want to inject throughout the pig. You just want to make sure you focus on the hams because they are so easily dried out. And you can't forget to inject into the loins because they are so small on this suckling pig. Make sure you get a lot of that marinade in, and of course we cannot forget about the shoulders. That pretty much covers the injection of the pig. And even though we injected, we still want to season the core of the pig. That's just going to add more flavor. The seasonings I chose today were La Lechonera Sazon Todo and their garlic salt, which I have the links down below in the description. And now that our pig is nice and flavored, I'm going to dry the skin. For this step, you can use a kitchen cloth or some paper towels. I want a really crispy skin, so I'm going to reduce any moisture before I grease it. So make sure you get it all off. Now that my pig skin is nice and dry, it's time to oil it down. You can use any high heat oil or a fat, but I'm deciding to use some high heat cooking spray. Any of the three will work, just make sure you grease the entire skin up. And this next step is optional, but I'm deciding to salt the skin. La Lechonera's garlic salt has big salt flakes, so that's what I'm using. Now that the skin is prepped, we are entering the final step before throwing this pig onto the smoker. The ears, the snout, and the tail are easily burnt. So what you're going to want to do is cover them in foil. I do want to mention, while I was prepping my pig, I did preheat my smoker. So my smoker is now up to temp. I'm using lump charcoal and hickory wood splits for that smoke flavor, and I'm going to use cherry wood splits to help with the color of the pig. Alright, she's officially ready to get onto the smoker. You are going to want to position your pig the way you want to present it when it's time to eat. I did add it to a cooking rack, so when it's time to take it off the smoker, it can be done more easily. And I'll talk more about that at the end of the video, but now we're going to smoke this low and slow at 250 degrees for 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, it's time to begin basting our pig. Even though I was only 90 minutes in, I was so ecstatic when I saw the skin. This is why I love using cherry wood splits with the harder wood. It's getting that beautiful golden color, which is also evident of a good clean fire. I did temp the hams as well as the shoulder because I wanted to make sure that they were cooking evenly. They were roughly about 10 degrees off, but I'm okay with that. If your hams are cooking way faster than your shoulders, you might need to rotate during your cook, but that's okay. After tempting, don't forget to baste your pig. This will not only help crisp the skin, but it's also going to help protect the skin. I'm using a cooking spray because it's not only easier, but it's a lot faster. You're going to want to baste every hour to 90 minutes depending on how fast your skin is darkening. Now that we're done basting, we're going to continue smoking low and slow at 250 degrees until our pig reaches the stall. And my pig didn't reach the stall until hour 5. My hams and my shoulders were stuck at an internal temp of 160. To push through the stall and to protect my pig's skin, I'm going to cover loosely with foil. Do not cover too tight because we don't want to lose our crispy skin. If you are on a time crunch, you can increase the temperature to 275, but I'm keeping it at 250. At hour 7, my pig was officially done. This is why I recommend adding it to a cooking rack. Once your pig is officially cooked, it is so vulnerable to fall apart, especially when you're moving it from place to place. Big indicator that your pig is completely rendered is that when you apply a little pressure, it almost feels hollow in the middle. I also don't recommend leaving any foil while it's resting. Even if you're resting at room temperature, you don't want to leave anything on to potentially ruin the integrity of that skin. Now let's go more in depth about resting. I cannot stress this enough. Do not rest it in the oven, and do not rest it in an ice cooler. You will ruin the crispy skin. You're going to want to rest your pig at room temperature still on the cooking rack. Allow it to rest for about 30 minutes so it gives all those juices time to redistribute throughout the pig. Now that my pig is fully rested, it's time to serve. And this right here is a perfect example of how your skin should sound when you're tapping into it. Even the ears should be nice and crispy. If you're hosting a party or even trying to work up to a whole hog so you can compete, presentation is key. So how you actually cut into your pig is very, very important. So I'm choosing to cut down the spines, and I'm choosing to do an incision above the shoulders as well as above the hams, and then I'm going to carefully guide my fingers along the side of my incision so I can separate the meat from the skin. Cutting my pig this way gives me full access to the meat that I want to serve my guests, and it also gives your guests a visual on how juicy and rendered the meat is. And don't make the same mistake I did. I forgot to put on a heat glove before actually getting into the meat. But as you can see, it is perfectly rendered out. I promise you, your guests are going to want to see this. And if you ever smoked a poke shoulder before, you know exactly what bone this is. The meat literally slides off the bone. Well guys, that pretty much wraps up this video. Thank y'all so much for watching and for continuing to support me. You know I appreciate you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. All my product links will be in the description as well as the full recipe, so don't forget to save this recipe for your next holiday cookout. And thank you to my friends at La Lechonera for sponsoring this video. So do me a favor guys, go check them out. And if you go onto their website, you can check out their holiday specials so you can save a couple bucks. And if you're like me, I love saving money during the holidays. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time guys, enjoy.